Welcome back, everyone. You've got Carly and Adam and me. We're back here for Retail Therapy, the Loyalty Edition. This is episode 4, and this is what we would call the Loyalty Team Blueprint. You heard about Adam talk about in episode 1 about teams and how important they are and how much they're not really discussed enough from a loyalty perspective. We've got an episode on teams. So how teams build profitable loyalty systems is really under the Loyalty Team Blueprint. And I'll kick off, guys. So everyone talks about loyalty technology. Everyone talks about loyalty strategy, but very few talk about the loyalty team. Thanks, Adam, for bringing it up. And the truth is, the team is the engine that turns loyalty from cost to profit. Without the right people, the structure and capability, no program, no platform or ecosystem will ever reach its potential. Today, we're going to break down exactly what high-performing loyalty teams look like and why they are the foundation of profitable loyalty. Adam, we know you love this and we know you're passionate about this. Can you kick us off?
Wow, I'm glad we're actually getting some airtime together on this topic. Yeah, I'm extremely focused on this with every single brand or business that I have the opportunity to work with. And the reason why is, first of all, there's two types of people. It's the internal team. So it's from the CEO, the people internally. So everyone across the business, different departments, as Carly once mentioned in another episode, if it's the IT team, the HR team, the tech team, the marketing team, the merchandise team, there's all different, teams on the size of the business. So internal team absolutely starts there. Are you aligned? Do you believe, what's your belief and buy-in, as I call it, belief and buy-in to the future of a program? And we're talking about programs here again, Damien, something that's structural and there's going to be an investment. So I'll start off with two sides to the team. One's the internal team. And then the second part is the external customer facing team, especially if it's a retail. And I know you've been there. So who are at POS and how important they are. And I've got some case studies that I'd love to share a bit later. But let's talk about the two teams. And maybe we then go back to how do we build loyalty champions? How do we keep them on not just here's a great program. It's all about launch. Launch is fantastic. What about 3, 6, 9, 12 months later? So let's talk about the two teams and B, the how.
Lovely segue to Carly.
I think this one is just, you feel it, right? You really do. When a loyalty team, and I'll talk about it broadly, internal or external and retail team behind the program, love the program, and treat it like their baby.
Yeah.
You feel it. The customers, the members feel it, and there's this energy within it. The passion that goes into it might be simple to say, but businesses that we've been lucky enough to work with, where everyone is behind this program going live and the rollout and then the ongoing, whether it's the look and the feel and the brand or the offer and then how it's been rolled out at store level. Members know. I just think when a program has got this love around it. So the team are absolutely imperative. There's no question, right? And they're hugely pivotal, especially at the storefront. If you're at a retail environment, you're at the checkout. If that store member is engaged and loves the program, they want you in because they're trying to invite you into their community, right? So I think that you just feel it is probably the best way to put it.
Oh yeah, can I just jump in? I love the way you said, feel the love. You're absolutely, I love the way you framed that, Carly, because you can absolutely, especially when there's a human-to-human connection in a store environment. But Damien, I know you're the host and I'm asking you the question, but you were in retail businesses for much of your career, the little I know. Tell me about the internal, and with or without a program, how do you, whatever strategy you're mastering at your business, share with us your view of team.
Look, the structure of a team, the composition of the team, the diversity of the team are hugely important. And I talk about it from, like a national support office or a head office perspective. Have done time in store, but usually as a representative from a head office and pulled the sleeves up and got dirty. So enjoy that as well. But it's and then engaging the team members in the store to be feeling part of the program, believe in the program, but believe that it's actually got value believe that it's actually got value to customers. So then they're passionate about it. Yeah. So you might be passionate about it at the support office, but if the team members at the I suppose the coal face or the customer face aren't passionate about it or don't believe in it or feel that it doesn't offer any value, you can tell because they just don't engage the customers or they don't feel confident engaging the customers with what that program has to offer. We had some interesting metrics in different businesses, but one of the interesting one was actually gathering email addresses and actually the percentage of email addresses per transactions and so forth. And that was not a great metric, but it was a great metric to understand, were they having the discussion? Were they actually having that discussion about program and the value of the program and whether they were valuable enough in the program to part with their email address and engage with the program, customers at the coalface. But it comes back to what you said and also exactly what Kārli said. It's, we talked about in episode 1, it's that loyalty experience. It's that brand experience. Yeah. So if it becomes part of you and part of the fabric of how you go to market, then it actually comes to life. Yeah. I've certainly been in stores and observed and done mystery shopping and seen no one talk about the program and no one talk about the brand. And then I've certainly been in situations and you see people and you go, oh my God, I couldn't give them a bonus or an extra pay or an extra incentive to get them to talk about our brand and our brand experience and our loyalty experience any better than what they did. So it's got to be simple enough to execute. It's got to be simple enough to communicate, but they've got to believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Damien, I want to just dig on something you said about your KPI around email collection. Did you explain to the team members why the email was important?
Yeah, well, look, we explained to the whole team, and it wasn't their only metric. They had lots of metrics in retail, but it was a nice indicator for us to see the level of engagement. Yeah, so you see high transactions in a store, and the store's going well, but there's not customers coming back that are part of our program or signaling that they might be part of the program, but not telling us that they're actually part of the program. It's, we need to be able to measure that to measure the effectiveness of things, but also understand the level of engagement with those things. So I wish there was a better metric, but it was probably the only key metric that we could see. Okay, well, were customers returning? And if they were new customers, were they joining? So,
and I think my question is going deeper than the metric. What I'm trying to get to, and I'll cut to the chase, is giving your team members a reason why. As in, it's not just an email.
Yeah.
And that's what I was asking is, did you say...
talked about the benefit of what the program is, but it was the reason, I suppose the reason was, how do we engage people with the program? Why do we engage people with the program? The value of that program, what the benefit that is to the customer, but what the benefit of that is to us as a business and that particular individual store, if it's an individual store.
I've got a great example on this one where not that long ago, being in a retail environment, and this is an example of what I guess we don't want to see happening, is the retail staff member did sort of mention the program, would I like to sign up, and then said, actually, maybe you don't want to bother, you're just going to get bombarded with emails. And it was this detraction, right? So obviously my answer was then no. So it really does matter if you've got your store staff engaged in the program personally and they can see why, they see the purpose of this, and they trust it as well. They then have to trust that it's going to be an ongoing good experience for that person.
Yeah.
But then there's a flip side as an alternative. I'll shout out a brand, Best and Less. I'm not a shopper by any stretch. Personally, I'm not much of a shopper. But these guys, their friends club, may have room to improve as a program overall, but the store staff, so engaged, it's like they make you want to be in it. They don't forget it. They invite you in, and they're such advocates. And it just changes the whole feeling around it when you're in that store and whether you're going to be part of their program. You kind of can't say no, the way they just love it.
It's the same with my Dan's and Dan Murphy's. Every single time you go there, they will ask you at point of sale, not online, but at point of sale, are you a member because of, the Dan's deals or whatever the proposition is? But because it's asked every single time with the reason why, as you say, back into what's in it for you, it's because then they get the connection, they get the data point, they get the tag rate, as we call it. And so it's all about, that's exactly it. It's all about that enthusiasm and that, and ask. I mean, if you don't ask, you don't get. So That's why now Coles and Woolies have got the voice at the self-register. Are you a member? You know, like it's 100% almost every single time the scan rate is, are you a member? Are you a member? Are you a member? In fact, I did some work on the launch of Flybuys in 2012. And I remember we did some maths around how many times across their hundreds and hundreds of stores, across every transaction, every day, 365 days. Now, Damien, you can do the maths. How many times are you a member was asked? And it was millions and millions and millions. And so therein lies that are you a member, and that's already automated, versus the enthusiasm, Carly, that you said, the person looked you in the eye and said, would you like to join Best Friends, or what's it?
Friends Club.
Friends Club.
Great club.
And exactly, well done. And you most probably say, well, what's in it for me, or why, and they'll most probably give you a good benefit. I call that, and I'm going to just, again, you should never have given me this episode because it'll be a rant, but I call that the inspire statement. What is the 10 words or less inspire statement that your team member can say at POS? Hey, Carly, are you a member? Because if you are, this is what you get in 10 words or less.
Yeah. What's the benefit? I mean, I've got many stories like Carly just mentioned before, and Carly, you coined it early on, that loyalty experience. The person that's actually talking to you about getting your details to be a member or verify that you already are a member and record it, if they're not passionate about it, they're not bought into it, they're not convinced that it actually adds value and is worth the effort for the customer to bring it out and scan it or to be a member in the first place, they're never going to work, because if they are, then they create FOMO. They go, oh, geez, of course I want to be a member. I'm not already a member. Many places I go into and go, no, thanks, not interested, no, thanks. And I'm in retail, yeah? So I just go, no, unless someone can really go, oh, there's a real tangible benefit for this. Like,
absolutely.
Miss out. Oh, I don't want to miss out, or miss out on that next thing. And then you have the one that actually sells it not to you. You go, oh, don't do that. It's a waste of time. You'll just get bombarded by emails or SMSs.
That's just scary.
Oh my God, it'll be a pain for you.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
That's the opposite end of the scale. So, look, it's interesting, but it's how you, if they're excited and passionate and engaged about the program, that will come across to the customers, and that will obviously come across for new signups, but also getting people to present. And what you guys said, increase that tag rate when you're in store.
Well, I think, Damien, as well, we've got to remember, in a lot of cases, retail staff, they are representing their brand and they care about the customer they're talking to. So even if we just take that as a fundamental, therefore they will do what is best for the customer. If they believe the program is good, they want to promote the program. If they don't believe in the program, they're serving the customer. They're then doing exactly what I get my example as to earlier, don't worry about it. So if their best interest is always looking after the customer, they will advocate for what they think is good or bad. Good is the program, great. If it's not good, don't do it. And I'm talking simplistically, and I'm not trying to generalize all retail staff, but if that's where they're coming from, a place of passion, they're gonna promote the bit that they believe is best for customer.
Yeah. So the first part that we need to do from a team perspective is actually make sure we get that right with the teams that are in store to execute. Yeah.
And great businesses bring the employees in. Great businesses will create a sub-tier or a different tier for their employees, or a parallel program for their employees, or some added benefit as well. So consider, what are you doing to engage the employees, not just in how to use the program and how to promote the program, what do they get as well? Yeah. So don't leave them out of the program so that they're the ones promoting it, but not getting it themselves and getting the benefits. So I like looking at how can we also structure something for the staff and for the employees to make them feel special and loved, as they should, while they're talking about the great features. And it's a great way to train someone on what the program does if they're using it themselves. So I think that's super important that they're included 100%.
Yeah, you've just said a few things in there which I want to frame back to everybody, and I'll share what I call my 5 times E process for loyalty champions. And we've said all of them in different ways, but I just wanted to give them very quickly if I can. First of all, 𝗘𝗶𝗊, you just talked about getting them to join the program. So is it possible for every team member to be a member of the program? Sometimes it's not because of fraud and risk and other incentives. But if they don't enroll and feel the experience and actually be part of it, at least enroll as a dummy account or whatever it is, so you know what you're doing. And when you talk about the simplicity of joining, so enrollment is the first E. Like, can you get your team members to enroll? Educate is the one we've been speaking about, is the next E. There's a lot in educate. It's like, why do we have a program? What's in it for the member? What's in it for the business? How does the program work? What are the benefits? What are the structures? There's education, and there's a whole range of processes. So that's the second E. The third E is expectations, which you've spoken about, Damien, which is KPIs. Is it signups? Is it email gathering? What's expected of the team member? Is it expected that they ask every single customer, are you a member? What's expected? Clear KPI. So that's third. The fourth is, and we've spoken about, is excite, motivate, have a competition, sign-ups. And we did one for a pharmacy group where we had a massive sign-up month, and we asked, and where there was a competition, a prize, a big prize for a customer who was selected to win, who joined that month. But the team member whose customer won that prize also won a massive prize. So there was this whole, process of exciting the team members. And the fifth one, 𝗘𝗊, you kind of sort of said, which is empower. Like, give them something. And I've got a great example of that, is that, and it's not always possible, and you've got to manage it carefully, which give them what I call a majority moment of magic budget. Give them a empower budget. So can you surprise and delight your customer with you've got a budget, but they don't know, with extra bonus points, or it depends on the structure of the program, but empower your team to create a joyful experience or a moment of magic. So those are the 5 E's, and we've discussed them, but if you want to pick on any of those 5 now and go deeper, I'd love to hear your point of view.
Yeah, look, interesting from the Storeland perspective for me. At Autobarn, we launched a loyalty program, or we piggybacked off the Virgin Velocity program, because we really couldn't afford to do our own program and run our own program. Very lean marketing team as well. But, in doing that, we had a very valuable and very highly engaging system to engage the stores and the team members in the stores. So there was an incentive program in place, so where they got, the best performing store, best performing team, best performing individuals. They all got their extra share of points, and it was a tangible currency that not only customers obviously got to use and stuff as well, but obviously they got bonus points and extra points and so forth. And we had a budget for that. So we had a budget of points for customers, obviously, that we needed to meet and exceed. But we also had a budget of those points to use for incentives, and it was a key part of that program. I took those learnings from Autobarn days with Velocity and ensured that we put that in place when we were doing that with Qantas frequent flyer points when I was at 40 Winks, and got some similar wins in that similar process. So it's interesting. You kind of pseudo rented a program by using those airline programs, but managed to leverage those to actually do that thing, and actually was very highly engaging with the teams. And both of those were in franchise. So the owners of the store had an incentive, the store managers, the individual team members. There was a whole structure and tier system in place to engage them as much as we're engaging the consumers to use the program or use the points. So, yeah.
I'm interested in
𝗘𝗊. Empower. Yeah, I like the empower one that you mentioned. I mean, 5 are good. Especially we see this in hotels, I think. It's in the hotel programs. We see this probably
very much
subtly used, where staff are empowered and have a set amount of, whether it's perks, budgets, ability to make a decision with the customer at the time to make a change, whether it's room, whether it's an added value item, whether it's solving a problem. I mean, if you think about the whole, check-in experience to then room and etc. So I think Empower stands out to me from a hotel style program, probably one of the most, because the experience is generally lengthier than a retail one, let's say, and they need that ability to problem solve, because there's so many different things that can go wrong in that whole process. So that's the one that stands out to me, is more hotels and travel, probably a bit more broadly, that empowering the people that are representing the program.
Yeah, I love that example, and you're spot on in terms of that category. But I still think you can empower other categories and people with
Sure.
with programs. Yeah, so yeah, Damien, not sure where you want to go from here in terms of the
Yeah,
team,
that's
but
okay. I think kind of flowing on or kind of integrating that back into the overall episode. Look, how high performing brands structure their loyalty team. So if we kind of pivot now and get back into the national support office or the head office, or where I suppose the controlling body or the structured body is actually running loyalty. When you study high performing loyalty brands, a pattern emerges, and we love patterns, don't we, Adam? There is clarity. One person owns the commercial outcome, one person owns the emotional and experiential outcome, and one person owns the system and operational outcome. I don't mean one person. I mean there's department heads, there's people that come together. But this is how brands like Ulta, Amazon Prime, Qantas, Sephora, they really keep loyalty profitable at scale. These teams are built to balance these economics and behavior and technology together, rather than, oh, we've got a problem, that's the IT department, oh, we've got a problem, that's the marketing team. So it's how we actually get those teams to kind of work together seamlessly across the business, as well as get ownership when we get into store land with those teams. 𝗘𝗏𝗄, Adam, your experience. Did you want to kick off first, Adam?
I do, and I'm going to go again with an example here. So I interviewed Chris from Accor Hotels when he was working there, and I asked him, and here's your hotel example coming, Carly. How do you engage and through the 5 E's? How do you educate, excite, expect? Your 140,000 people at check-in or at when you come in around your program, and look, that's at scale. But he did talk about an app. He talked about he gamified the program from an education point of view. So every team member had to answer certain questions on this app, in this program. It's like a mini loyalty program about the program, to educate them, answer questions, get points, build a leaderboard. But what he did say to me, and it's in the article for those who want to fact check, is he did say to me, those hotels whose people completed every single module of the education system outperformed those hotels whose team members didn't. Full stop.
I've had a recent experience at an Accor hotel using the app. I know exactly the one you're talking about. And I was trying to navigate through to find a particular thing. The gentleman there said, let me do this for you. Took me through, done. I got redemptions, an extra reward, etc. He knew it back to front.
Yeah.
He knew exactly how to navigate it and helped me seamlessly. It worked. And I got the reward, the benefit. It was fantastic. But to your example, it was specifically a core. They knew the program. He knew the process of the app and made my check-in, my whole experience fantastic. So I love that example. I love that you brought that one up.
Yeah, let's look at the roles are really important, I think, when we find that. And I suppose, we're talking about learning and development there, or training of that system and educating that system. So A, to be aware of it, B, to understand the fundamentals and how it functions.
Yeah.
I think C, really to engage with it. Yeah. So if they engage with the program, then they deliver it better, or they deliver it well. They give that loyalty experience. So I suppose the roles every loyalty team needs, there's probably a heap of roles that they need. We've got someone that's going to look after, the customer insight lead. We've got the lifestyle and engagement type of lead that we have. We have a profit person, of course they do, because Damien's talking about this. You have a member experience person, so that they can look about that. And then you might have finally the platform owner. Any thoughts about those guys? These kind of types of roles, guys.
I love the example. Irrespective of the titles, I think the departments you've definitely covered, and the titles, it might vary by industry, by company, but I love the businesses who put a customer focus. They either call it a customer role or everyone focuses on the customer. There's a really great example. This is probably a famous one where a good meeting will leave one chair spare, empty. That's where the customer sits. And I love this. And any business that we see that is putting customer first, either by title of a role or a department, or the departments understand that customer is key here, seem to do better in their loyalty program experience, whichever way you want to look at that, because they're looking at what does the customer actually need and want out of this.
Yeah. That's huge. I think in 𝗘𝗶𝗁, I suppose your flywheel, or one of your flywheels that you operate in, is that emotional impact. Yeah, so they can amplify the program by that emotional impact that amplifies it. Yeah, so when customers feel recognised, understood, valued, I suppose their frequency, which what we're after at the end of the day, increases. Yeah, their trust increases, their desire to stay increases, stay with the brand increases. And that's really how that loyalty stops being really a tactic and starts becoming a habit, as Adam would say. Yeah. Adam.
Yeah, I just want to finish off this episode by saying that, that love, back to the love comment that 𝗘𝗶𝗁 made right in the beginning. If your team members and everybody love the program, then that just naturally will be felt by the customer or the member. And then guess what the member does? They tell others. So your CAC, as you say, Damien, goes down because I came home today and I heard from my wife the amazing experience she just had at XYZ retailer, because they said, "Are you a member? This is special for you. Oh, by the way, we'll still treat you to this." And she told me and many others. So let's not forget the power of the voice of the customer, as you say, when you treat them with the love that 𝗘𝗶𝗁 just gave us.
Yeah, look, if I can kind of try to soften that out with my little profitability lens, if I can. But, I love Adam saying CAC. Just, yeah.
He doesn't need more acronyms.
I love it. I love a CAC. Well,
yeah, CAC. I mean, my partner's South African and she uses CAC, and it's not CAC.
No, well, that's why we got to be careful. And I know this is being recorded, and maybe you need to edit the CAC and the CAC because there's quite a different meaning.
I know, but people can look that up. We don't have to.
Yeah.
So I suppose this is what looks good when everything works, I suppose. As you just mentioned, Adam, CAC, acquisition cost reduces because customers return more often. Fantastic. Like your example of your wife being, getting that loyalty, or what do you call the
loyalty moment of magic, Damien.
The contribution margin increases because customers pay full price and buy better. Yeah, they're not always buying it at a reduced price.
Yeah,
payback shortens because the second and third purchase happens faster, which we talked about in our third episode. So this is what we talked about in the first episode again, is this is loyalty as a profit engine, not as a cost center, as a profit engine. So, the team is crucial. The team is, I suppose, pivotal in bringing those, setting up the structure and running the program, but also delivering it at the coalface with that loyalty experience in store. And even delivering that online, with customer service teams online when they're purchasing as well. Unless we've got anything else to add to team.
I think we have a new mission, Damien. We're changing the perception of loyalty. It is not a cost, it is a revenue driver. And that's our new mission for 2026, right?
Love it.
Absolutely.
A good way to finish.
Let's finish on that note. Thank you very much, 𝗘𝗶𝗁. Thank you very much, Adam. Much enjoyed this episode with you and look forward to doing the next one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Damien. Thanks, 𝗘𝗶𝗁.